All right, so today we are here outside of Lake Andrea. Hopefully you can hear me. If not, this will be for now. But let's talk. Let's talk about business. Let's talk about your business, of course. When I start recording, the train goes by. Let's talk. One of the things that I think is really important to understand is that it is okay to want more. Okay, a lot of people are embarrassed by success. They're embarrassed by wanting more. I'm gonna have to pause this so that the train goes by. All right, so the train just went by. And it's one of those things that I think is a limiting belief that not a lot of people talk about. One of those things that people are afraid to be successful because their parents weren't successful or they're the most successful person that they know. And it's a mental hurdle that you have to get through. It's one of those mental hurdles that I know I had to fight in order to be successful, is wanting more and getting more and what to do when you have more. One of those things, like I said, it's a thing that not a lot of people talk about and not a lot of people understand until it happens. Some people are afraid to start an online business because what happens if the best case scenario happens? What happens if I'm actually successful? What happens if I make more money in a day than some people make in a week or a month? And that can be a terrifying thing. What do you say to your family and friends when that happens, if that happens? And so people that I've spoken with, people that I have worked with will say, I don't want to get started because what if I make money? And the other thing is, what if I've got to pay taxes? I've got to pay more taxes, so I don't want to make more money, which is a weird thing. People would rather make less money because they would pay less taxes. They would rather have less security, less enjoyment in life because they don't want to pay more taxes. Think about how silly that is. Can you apply that type of logic to anything else? It just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, back to what I was saying. You deserve more. But before I got serious with my online business, and one of the hurdles was getting more and deserving more. In fact, my last job, I was a software developer, and I was making a little over $84,000 a year. And that's a weird feeling, to be making more than your parents. Probably double what my parents were making with one job. And that's an awkward conversation to have. That's an awkward thing to cover and to talk about. That's an awkward thing to know. Growing up, money was scarce. We had this scarcity mindset. It was so scarce that I remember when I was going to college, you had to fill out your FAFSA. This is how old I am. We had to fill out our FAFSA in paper. And you go through, you enter in all the regular information, but when it came to tax time, you had to go into the other room so that your parents could fill out that information. Money was never discussed. It was always a scarcity thing. You never knew, you never shared that type of information. And so I think that kind of translates. People don't truly know what they're worth, how much they're worth, because it's not discussed enough. And it's a way to kind of suppress what people make and what people earn. Anyway, you deserve more. You can earn more. You can be successful. You deserve to have freedom. You deserve more. One of the things that we see all the time, and I kind of chuckle, is that all of these people out here that talk about make money online, they always share like this rags to riches story. They're always talking about how it's a formula that webinars basically follow, but every video is always about how they pulled themselves up from their bootstraps, or how they had it all and then lost it all and then they figured out a way to get it back. Your story doesn't have to be that. Your story could simply be, which is mine, is I was doing pretty well in life, but something was missing. It was, I wanted to be with my kids more. I didn't want to wake up at 4 a.m, 5 a.m, and be gone before they got to school, or be gone before they woke up, and come home and potentially miss a soccer practice or a basketball practice. Also, too, I thought that I enjoyed my job, but I didn't. I didn't enjoy working in a cubicle. I didn't enjoy feeling like I was trapped in some sort of like prison where I could look outside in a tiny little window. And if you're feeling that type of thing, and again, I don't even know if you guys can hear me, if you're feeling that type of thing, I encourage you to seek more. Go out and challenge yourself. Try and earn more, get more out of life. And it's kind of like I mentioned last time. Once you start seeing success, things slow down. You got time to look around and to take it all in, which is pretty cool. Anyway, like I said, one of the best things you can do for yourself is to seek more. Yeah, one of the things that people talk about, and I go back to the rags and riches story. A lot of people are looking to be successful online for different reasons. Whether they feel trapped in a situation, whether they feel like there's nothing else that they can do. For me, what I was doing, I just wanted more. I felt I had a greater purpose in life than to work on code and programming. And I only went that route because the previous job that I had, I wasn't satisfied. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. Growing up, graduated high school, B student, wasn't great. College, B student. My first bachelor's degree was in communications, public relations. My master's, I have an MBA master's degree, and don't really use those things, but it was a great experience. I went back and got a degree in computer science, and I was always seeking more, but I never knew what more was, which is really, really interesting. There was this calling or yearning or wanting for more, but I didn't know what more was. And really more exposed itself when I had kids. So I encourage you to seek your more. What is your more? Oftentimes, I talk a lot about Moana. I talk a lot about Disney princesses. And Disney princesses all have one thing in common. They all start seeking more. They want more. They don't know what that more is. And oftentimes, we don't know what that more is. We don't understand what the more is. Anyway, Disney princesses, they all seek more. And I encourage you that if you've got this feeling like you don't know what more is, you don't know, you got a feeling but you don't understand it, that's more calling you. Today, for example, today's Thursday, I think. Actually, I don't really know the days of the week, which is both good and bad. What day I don't understand what's going to happen. It's a nice day out. It's December. It's not snowing. The lake isn't frozen. I don't know if you guys can see that. The lake isn't frozen yet. It's almost 50 degrees. This is basically shorts weather. One interesting thing that I learned about myself, and this came from a coaching student of mine, a coaching client of mine. I think I'm gonna head back. I don't know if you guys, but I'm gonna head back. So I'm meeting with a coaching student through G-Bolt Systems. There's one upsell, and that upsell is a one-on-one conversation. During that conversation, we build a landing page. I build the landing page and I put it in your account for you. We build out a lead magnet and an email sequence. So we give you a good start, a good push to get started. And so I'm talking to this client and she's like, hey, so I'm kind of struggling with content creation. I'm like, look, you gotta focus. You're trying 3 different niches. You got 3 different YouTube channels. You gotta focus. And she's like, okay, so what do I do for content creation? We start talking about content creation. And I'm like, do this, and this. This is what I would do. Do this and this. And she says, Alston, that's great for you, but that's just not my personality. And that really resonated with me, simply because I spend a lot of time trying to tell my clients and students what to do. But at the end of the day, you've got to create content that resonates with you. You've got to do stuff that resonates and you feel comfortable with, because if you don't, you're not going to continue. And so, like I said, I had a kind of an epiphany, a moment, if you will, that instead of just telling people what to do, show them the options of what to do. And so that was really interesting to me. It opened up my eyes, and it's really going to change the way that I coach and mentor people, because the way that I like to do things, the way that I like to create content might be completely different than what you want to do. Now, I do say often that you should create content where you feel comfortable. I don't say, and I think I'm going to start saying this, you should create content how you feel comfortable. I still think that everybody should be on camera, but there are multiple ways to create content. The other thing that I discussed yesterday with a different client of mine is the different buyer types. And this is something that I'm going to speak with my coaching group on Thursdays, are the different types of buyers. We all buy things because of the way we think, our thought process, right? In my thought process, I like to buy things if it's going to give me a competitive advantage. So I'll buy something if it's going to make me 1% better, if it's going to get me 1% closer to my goal. Kind of logical, also competitive advantage. There are 4 different types of buyers. Some people are logical buyers. Other people are emotional buyers. People oftentimes, they want to buy based on the connection that they have with you. And that's why video is so powerful. And when you're creating content, when you are creating content, create a mix of content to speak to each type of buyer. Now, personally, I'm not great at that. I tend to create content that would resonate best with me. And what resonates best with me is logic and competitive advantage. If I can see something gives me a competitive advantage, I'm going to buy it. But a bulk of your buyers aren't like that. A bulk of your buyers want to know the backstory of how you got where you are. They want to hear the story that I told you last couple days ago about shopping at Kmart and putting stuff on layaway, because that layaway story contributes to why you start an online business. So what I encourage you to do is to go out, learn what the various buyer types are, and start trying to create content for those different types. Now, the different types of content that you create are going to be difficult, because it's hard for someone that's logical to create content based on emotion. I know it's really difficult for me. It's difficult for me to talk about my story and my history, but it's something that a segment of your population want to know. And it's going to be one of those things that proves to be really powerful. If you can harness the different buyer types, if you can understand them and create content to reach those people, you'll be successful. And quite honestly, part of this walking and talking thing that we're doing is to bridge the gap to those other types of buyers. And there's walking and talking. I'm sharing more personal stories. You can kind of see where I live. Like I said, this is Lake Andrea. You're seeing a personal side of me that I don't normally share in my other content. My other content is usually very logical. It includes numbers, statistics, how you can get a competitive edge. But this type of content, which I intend to do much more of, speaks to the history, the story, the backstory. Like people, I guarantee you, there's someone that's watching this video that's simply enjoying the fact that I'm out in nature. I'm out walking around a lake, and I simply feel that connection of just not being inside of my office creating another YouTube video. They say, hey, he is a real person. He's walking around in the freezing cold and he's creating content. Talk to me like I'm a person. And that resonates with to think about the different buyer types that will resonate with your niche. And I don't know, again, if you can hear me, but create content for those different types of people. If you want to make 2024 your best year ever, create content for those different types of people. Create content for the emotional buyer. Create content for the people that love a story. Use statistics for the logical buyer. In fact, try and let the wind down just a little bit. In fact, what you should do is go look at sales pages, because every sales page is built to speak to the different types of buyers. If you read through a sales page, like really read through it, you'll see testimonials, you'll see people that are using statistics. You'll see, like, on some sales pages, they'll say, hey, if you just scroll down to the bottom of the screen, here's the deal. Those are for people that are analytical. They don't want all the fluff. So, pro tip, start creating more content intentionally based on the different types of buyers. Now, I'm talking a little bit louder because the wind is picked up. I don't know if you guys can hear me. If not, I'll have to make a separate video about this, but I want you to, starting today, be more intentional to create content outside. It'll give your target audience a different perspective, something different. So we're about 20 minutes in. Yeah, today I just want to let you know that it is okay to want more and to start creating different types of content for different types of buyers. It's not something that I've talked about often, but I think it's something that you can make subtle little changes and see big results. If you guys want to work with me, I will be launching a couple different programs in the next couple months to offer more and better scale to where you want to go to be successful in 2024.